Hi, Richard. Thank you for accepting my invitation to facilitate a workshop for the International Society of Hypnosis.
My great pleasure, Enayat, and thank you so much for inviting me to have a little chat with you today.
Great, thank you. I know that you're the managing editor of the Science magazine. Science of Psychotherapy Monthly magazine. You're also the science director of the CIPPS in Salerno, Italy. I know that CIPPS stands for Centro Internazionale di Psicologia e Psicoterapia Strategica. The International Center for the Psychology and Strategic Psychotherapy. And I know that you are co-author of several books, and you've written several chapters in several books about hypnotherapy, psychotherapy, social work, education, and neuroscience. Now, I'm going to ask you to tell us that what are you going to teach us in your workshop, which is titled Mirroring Hands in the ISH Monthly Masterclass webinars, please.
Well, let's be short and sweet because we want everybody to find out what happens at the workshop. But this activity of mirroring hands, and certainly Ernest invited me to write what would be, we hope, is the definitive sort of text of this, the practitioner's guide to mirroring hands. And so during the workshop, we will certainly be presenting the two sides. One is the approach, the orientation, the thinking behind it. But then we will also get down and show the very simple and straightforward ways in which the mirroring hands practice is practiced. And we'll actually do some group work, which we can do online, and we'll explain why it's something that can be used so easily in so many diverse circumstances.
Great, great. Thank you. I'm sure that it will be a very, let me say, interesting workshop, and it will be very informative. And I read on the abstract of this workshop that you're going to describe the new paradigm of client-responsive therapy. What's that?
Oh, this is terribly exciting because this is kind of what Ernest Rossi left me with, because we subtitled the book, it's a client-responsive therapy, and it triggers that natural problem-solving mechanisms. And so I'm pursuing that. I've been pursuing that for some time. So what do we mean by client-responsive therapy? This is actually the APA. In America has been working on this idea for quite a while. There's some great names doing it on responsiveness, but Ernest and I take it somewhere slightly uniquely. And there is, I think, a new form, a new way of therapy that I think Erickson began when he started to move into his non-directive ways. And then Ernest has taken even further, where we're trying to really understand this client therapist co-creative experience. And so I actually think there's a way we can describe this in a new paradigm, and I've been preparing that, and I'm actually begun a PhD on this work as well.
Great. Thank you. And I know that you are going to teach us some techniques in the workshop.
Well, yeah, I mean, the way in which you start mirroring hands and get into the process is incredibly simple. And that was the beauty of Ernest's shift or development of Erickson's engagements of things. What happens during it, that's a whole other story, because it is absolutely follows this idea that Erickson's idea that he said years ago, that every therapeutic experience is a science experiment. Everyone is a field experiment. There is no real way of knowing what is going to come out in a therapy. But what is important, if you take this client responsive approach, then you are prepared and engaged and a part of the flow with the client. And it's something that I think so many people are already doing, they're keen to do, and that's actually what the PhD will exploring. How prolific is this? How many people do it by choice? How many people do it by intuition? And how many people do it secretly because they're not supposed to do these sorts of very open moment by moment responsive therapies?
Great. I can't wait to participate in your workshop. So I invite the audience of the International Society of Hypnosis and also the members of the constituent societies of the ISH to participate in your workshop, which is going to be held on January 18, 2023. Okay, thank you very much. See you in the workshop.